world premiere miniseries event.
What you are about to hear is the only known record of a suppressed trial that took place in the county of Los Angeles.
Tonight, a world premiere miniseries event.
Heartburn flaring up?
It never seems to stop.
How long have you been taking antacids?
Seems like forever.
Have you told the doctor?
Won't he just tell me to take these?
Not necessarily. Nowadays, doctors can diagnose and treat your heartburn and indigestion.
Now that's worth a visit to the doctor.
If you've been suffering from persistent heartburn, indigestion, or stomach pain, this could be a serious problem. Make an appointment to see your doctor now.
What's it take to win in college basketball? What's it take to win in 7-Up's college basketball championship game? That hard work could win you a limited edition Ford Mustang or a chance at prizes worth $20 million. So start practicing. 1 in 12.
Tonight, a world premiere miniseries event.
When most people only remember the moon landing, another event took place that is, even today, forgotten. The imposter known as Alvin the Chipmunk was brought before a grand jury in March 1966 and was indicted on attempted murder charges of the band leader, Dave Seville, for and in the county of Los Angeles. The grand jury found enough evidence to begin a trial that was set to begin in June 1969. After an additional month of preparation by the attorney representing the imposter, Alvin, the trial began without further delay. For the record, the attorney that represented the imposter, Alvin, was a well-known attorney from New York City by the name of Mr. Philip Cochran. The state attorney representing the state of California was Mr. Arthur Fitzroy. 12 jurors were chosen and 2 alternates, though some jurors were dismissed having known about the facts surrounding this case. The trial proceeded July 26, 1969, under condition that the trial would not be televised nor any news reporters be allowed to take notes. Some sketches were made of the imposter, Alvin, but these have since disappeared from the archives of the Los Angeles Times. Most of the transcript that you will hear come from the only known records that exist at the courthouse in downtown Los Angeles. Only now after 50 years do we know all the true facts surrounding this attempted murder of the famous and well-known personality in the musical world known as Dave Seville. Just to summarize the known facts of what happened, it was assumed that Alvin the Chipmunk shot Dave Seville at the Capitol Records studios on Christmas Day in 1965. In the years since we have learned it was not Alvin but an imposter who attempted to shoot and kill Dave Seville. This imposter failed in his mission, was tried for attempted murder, sentenced to life at San Quentin Penitentiary, and was subsequently found murdered in 1971 in his cell. The reason the trial was suppressed, as we have since learned, was because the Department of Justice had learned of a coup from a rival record company, who wanted to monopolize the music industry for profit. This is why the attempted murder took place, to take out the primary artist of the chipmunk music industry. Here now is the only transcripts we could find from the Los Angeles archives in and for the city and county of Los Angeles. Some of these records are sporadically fragmented because of government suppression of these documents. Most fragments were also collaborated by the Los Angeles Times Microfiche Library archives also. All rise, the Honorable Judge Bobby Moore presiding. Please be seated. Bailiff, please read the charge in this case. Your Honor, case number 448-2231, State of California versus Alvin, the Chipmunk. Would the accused please rise? How do you plead? Not guilty was the reply from the imposter. It is so noted in the court record. You can sit down now. Mr. Prosecutor, you can begin your opening statement at any time. Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, and to those witnesses to this case today, the facts will prove beyond any doubt that the individual sitting here known as Alvin the Chipmunk did deliberately and willfully attempt to murder a fellow co-worker and personal friend, Dave Seville. That he deliberately and without conscience pulled out a revolver after a confrontation and shot him at point-blank range. Not only did he shoot him at point-blank range, but he shot him no less than 5 times. Your Honor, in opinion, this shows willful and premeditated actions that can no less be considered deliberate murder. The state of California is ready to prove these facts to this court, to the jury, and to you, Judge Moore. Would the defense care to make their opening remarks before we begin? Yes, Your Honor, this trial today is a travesty. My client is completely innocent of these charges, if not for the fact that he was incompetent at the time that he committed these acts against Dave Seville. My client, Alvin, says he does not remember anything of what happened. He doesn't even remember holding the gun when the security guards arrested him. All he remembers is seeing his friend and confidant, Dave Seville, lying on the floor with blood on his shirt. The facts will show, Your Honor, that my client is innocent of these charges and should be placed in a mental hospital for evaluation. Mr. Cochran, as the judge of this case, I can tell you right now that your client will not get any special treatment being a celebrity or anything else. This is a court of law, not a recording studio, not television show. If he expects me to show him sympathy, he is sadly mistaken.
Tonight, a world premiere miniseries event.
Go, you get out of the way. No, this is not a screen test for bats. Oh, hiya, kids. Don't be scared. It's me, Grandpa, your friend. And what a surprise I have for you. Now, you get your parents' permission and call my special monster number to hear stories all about my monster friends. Like the boy with 3 heads. I tell you, the teacher was always trying to get him to stop talking in class. And then one day, now you call my monster phone to hear what happened. You call 1-900-909-4300. I gotta tell you the one about the teenage girl from outer space. Oh, I tell you, you never, ever, ever heard stories like this before.
Hey, kids, call 1-900-909-4300 to hear Grandpa's Monster Stories and find out all about Grandpa's Monster Friends. $2 the first minute, 45 cents each additional. Ask Mom or Dad first.
I want something round and crisp, buttery tasting, a taste so good, oh, nothing will take its place. It's not just anyone, it's the only one that'll satisfy me. When I want a cracker, I want a Ritz.
When you want a cracker, one taste comes to mind. Golden buttery Ritz crackers. They're delicious anytime.
When you want a cracker, you want a Ritz.
Thanks, son.
Tonight, a world premiere miniseries event.
I want the jury to be told at this point in the trial, no one is to show any impartial feelings towards Alvin because of his status quo or any other special privileges they think he is entitled to. The defense attorney went up to the judge's bench and spoke to him, but we do not know what he said. The judge made one other comment that is noted in the archives. This is what he said: "Ladies and gentlemen in this courtroom, no one here is allowed to discuss this trial outside of this courtroom. Before you leave today, everyone here will be required to sign an oath of secrecy that they will not discuss it with anyone. I have been told this by the Department of Justice. If anyone objects to this, you must leave the courtroom now. There are no further stipulations, let's begin with the questions and witnesses." The state attorney said to the judge, "Your Honor, I call Simon the Chipmunk to the stand." The bailiff called Simon to the stand and swore him in. Simon sat down in the seat, and the questions were asked. The state attorney asked Simon, "Tell us please what you saw on the day that Alvin shot Dave Seville." Simon answered, "We were getting ready to redo a segment of the song when Alvin began arguing." The state attorney asked, "Was there any malice in this discussion by Alvin?" Defense attorney objected, stating this line of questioning was leading the witness. The judge screamed at the defense attorney, "Shut up." The state attorney asked again. Simon replied, "Yes, but whenever you spoke to Alvin, you never knew if he was mad at somebody or if he might have been in character." Your witness. The defense attorney asked Simon, "Does that mean that when you performed in the studio, you never knew what was really happening?" Simon answered, "Oh no, you knew when someone was joking, but, whenever we were performing in front of the microphone, you never knew when he was being serious." "Did Alvin ever come across to you as having changed?" Simon answered, "It's hard to say. We did so many of these albums together that we started to play around sometimes and you weren't sure if he were in character or not." "I have no further questions, Your Honor." The judge told Simon he could step down and return to his seat. The state attorney called Theodore to the stand. After being sworn in, Mr. Fitzroy asked Theodore if Alvin had ever owned a gun. The defense attorney blurted out, "Objection, Your Honor. This has not been proved that he even had it at the time of the shooting." The judge asked Mr. Cochran to approach the bench. There was yelling and shouting, but we could not make out what was said. Mr. Fitzroy returned to his seat next to Alvin, and the state attorney asked Theodore to answer the question. Theodore said, "I didn't see it on him the day of the shooting and I never had noticed it, if it was even on him that day." State attorney then asked Theodore, "Did you notice any kind of personality change in Alvin at all before this happened?" Theodore then answered, "I would have to say yes, because the atmosphere we used to have in the studio was a fun and laughable exchange between the three of us and Dave. But, I would say within the past 6 months it all had changed to arguments, yelling, and self-incriminations." Your witness. The defense attorney, Mr. Cochran, asked Theodore what he noticed the most about Alvin's change in personality. Theodore answered, "He got mad a lot more often about things, even unimportant things that you wouldn't think he even cared about." The defense attorney asked him what kind of things. Theodore answered, "Things like, why is the script not complete?" He knew full well that the writers always gave us scripts that had numerous corrections that we had to do before the microphone, yet Alvin didn't seem to remember that. The defense attorney asked Theodore, "Would you say that mentally he was unstable?" The state attorney jumped up and objected to this question. The judge asked Mr. Cochran to clarify his question. Mr. Cochran, Alvin's attorney, told the judge, "Alvin's mentality at this time is very relevant to understanding his state of mind. This is why we want Theodore to answer it." Mr. Cochran, "I think this line of questioning should be asked by a trained psychologist and not someone who is not qualified." After several objections from the defense attorney, he withdrew the question. The state attorney next called Dave Seville himself to the stand. After being sworn in by the bailiff, Mr. Fitzroy asked Dave what he remembered about the final moments before Alvin shot him. Dave answered by saying, "It was totally unexpected for Alvin to be out of character, or at least that I would have thought he wasn't in character when we were performing. He started up arguing about how long it was taking to finish the album and that he did not want to keep working these late hours."
Tonight, a world premiere miniseries event.
When raging floodwaters stormed through the town of Pueblo, Colorado in 1921, the people of U.S. West helped save hundreds of lives.
Mrs. Jenkins, move to higher ground. The water's coming. Your little boy is safe, Jenkins.
55 years later, when a collapsing wall of the Teton Dam unleashed its waters, the people of U.S. West again leaped into action.
Dad, hi.
Setting up an emergency phone center within hours by shipping equipment from out of state. Today, the companies of U.S. West are still helping people cope with the sudden furies of nature.
Ray's towing, this is Ray.
I skidded off the road at Summit and Crest Line.
With state-of-the-art cellular phones and the latest advances in communications technology.
Hi, it's me.
Somebody wants to talk to you.
Keeping the dreams of the West safe.
Hi, Mom. When am I going to be home?
Real soon, honey.
U.S. West.